Adoption has always been something that I love. I remember telling my parents when I was little that we just need to adopt. We need to adopt a baby because I just love it.
I was praying about it for a while, and the Lord made it very clear to me that we are called to it. He told me, do you want to make an eternal difference in someone's life? And I said yes. So at that moment, that's when, we decided that we need to do it. We need to pursue this.
We were expecting it to take 9 months at the most, is what they say for a private agency, and it took us almost 2 years. We also had 2 failed placements in that process. Mm-hmm. 3 days after that, we got a phone call saying there's a baby being born in Utah, a baby girl, and if you can get to Utah tomorrow by 10 o'clock, she's yours. So we bought our tickets and we flew out to Utah that day, and we got to meet our daughter Evelyn 20 minutes after she was born, and it was beautiful.
I always just thought it would be fun to adopt. Came to the point where abortions were talked about so much, and we realized that, this is one thing we could do to make a difference. And so we had started the process, adopted Kaden in 2018. Thought we're probably done, but time went on and we decided, we're going to pursue this again. Our process with her was not quite as easy. We thought we're getting Kaden's birth brother. Ended up the mom changed her mind and he went into foster care. So then we just continued the process.
In September, we get another case, and we got what they call a stork drop, where the baby's already born, but mom didn't select the family yet. 4 o'clock, we got the call that we're matched. By 8:30, we had packed all our stuff, pulled car seats out of the basement, and head to Florida. We actually went to a mall, we were doing some shopping, sat down to eat, and waiting on a phone call from the agency. And at 3 o'clock, we get a call, and mom had changed her mind. So that was probably one of the hardest ones, because now we're in Florida. We just drove 18 hours straight through during the night. We're sleep deprived, and then to okay, let's pack up and head home. I probably questioned God more in the past year than I have a lot of time. Why does this keep happening, and what's the purpose of it?
Consultant that we were working with said, don't dig up and doubt what you planted in faith. So, we went into this with faith that we're going to adopt another child, and, as soon as something doesn't go right, are we going to just quit? So we decided to continue the process.
On December 29th, I got a phone call from Mandy, who was our caseworker with Evelyn. And she said, Evelyn has a sibling that was born. And we think maybe it's a possible birth, full birth sibling. And would you be willing to adopt? And
this phone call was out of the blue.
This was totally.
This was right after Christmas. We got back from Tennessee. We used to live in Tennessee. We had moved from Tennessee in July, and we're living in a camper for 5 months, and we had just moved out of the camper, 2 weeks? Mm-hmm. And the house was not finished. There's plastic on the walls. There's scaffolding in the house. I'm like, how can we say no? And Ryan's like, we can't say yes. We literally can't say yes. Our house is in pieces. Our life, all of our belongings were in boxes still. And they wanted us to leave that day to go to Ohio. Yeah. As much discussion as you can fit in 30 minutes. Yeah. Yeah. I called Mandy back and said, we can't. Mm-hmm. We can't. Yeah. Can't say yes. And it was heartbreaking, and I went into this 2-week just almost mourning of her, and I kept asking God, God, if I just need to know that she's okay, and that she's loved.
We got a case just as she was getting ready to go out the door for Emerson in Ohio, where she was born, so it was a stork drop, and she said, well, this is actually, birth mom doesn't care who picks. So we're gonna pick the family, and if you guys say yes, you are selected. So this was Wednesday night, so Thursday at lunchtime, we headed to Ohio. I had actually been talking to Phil Weaver with Lanco, so we talk business sometimes and just walk through just challenges, and he called me and I was sharing some of the things we were dealing with at work, and then also the challenge of we got matched, we got this preemie out in Ohio.
Philip made the connection. He knows a family here at ECC, the Laps, and he said, I think Marlene may have went out to Ohio.
So he comes home and tells me
yeah.
that there's this family from ECC that went to Ohio to adopt a baby girl. And I was like, fine. Like, it's not the same. There are hundreds of adoptions. There's, I mean, you know, it's not that family. You're gonna have to call him. So
I knew in my heart that
So he
it was.
called Matt Lapp.
And he's like, what's birth mom's name? So I said, it's like, they're siblings. So that was, I mean, I remember the exact spot I was when we like discovered that. I was just like, this is amazing.
I just lost it. I just started bawling.
it was unbelievable.
I knew at that moment, like, I would get to meet her. Like, she goes to our church. I actually had a phone call from our agent. She was crying. She said, I do this all the time. I see miracles all the time. I've never seen anything like this. She said, I have hundreds of families that I could have connected, that I could have placed Emerson with. The chance that she ended up in your state, much less, you know, your circle. It's just unheard of.
She started texting Jen, Ryan's wife, and one day I was actually reading the text. I'm like, hang on, their daughter's name is Evelyn, and they changed their daughter's name last minute. They had to actually text everybody a name, and then last minute they changed it, and they were gonna name her Emerson.
So we named her Emerson.
Yeah.
And she was called Emerson for the first at least 24 hours. But then we changed her name to Evelyn because it has all of our names, including her birth mom, in her name, Evelyn Joy. So we changed it to Evelyn. But the Lapps named their daughter Emerson, and they would have had the same name.
Yeah.
Like, it's just crazy.
We actually had a different name picked out for our 2 previous adoptions we were planning on having. And we watched the movie Priceless, and his daughter's name was Emerson. And we were like, hey, we like that name. That might be a name, you know, that we would choose, and that's just what we went with. We thought it fit.
If God calls you to something, to take that step. And even in the calling, it doesn't always mean it's going to turn out right how you anticipated. You know, taking that step does not mean, okay, now everything's going to work out. There's still going to be trials and things that you go through. And God does care about you, and he's not out to get you. I think he has a bigger plan. And just to understand that he's faithful even when it don't seem like it's working out how you want it to.
He really has the whole world in his hands. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Yeah, he's so faithful. And we just see his heart for adoption through this. And he was definitely so faithful.
It's very exciting. I can't wait to see him grow up together.